we thank the guys in Sharq Forum. Before talking about the international dimensions, I'll give you a snapshot about what's happened in Yemen. Yemen is one of the countries that witnessed Arab Spring, and it was among the countries where which witnessed peaceful demonstrations for 2 years all through Yemen, from the north to the south to Aden, Hadramaut, and all through Yemen. And then later on, the Yemenis kept on using or following the peaceful solution and the peaceful way, and that witnessed the national dialogue for 1 month and a half. The Yemenis had dialogue among each other, including the Houthis and all of the parties. And all of the parties sponsored by national and international bodies, and this came up with outcomes of the national conference dialogue, and they talked about the fact that the country will be a federal, talked about federalism with 6 regions. And then the Yemenis were surprised later on that one group revolted against all of the outcomes and all of the legislative authority represented by Abd Rabbo, who was the president, and the government was detained, and the president's home was besieged, and you know what happened. And about 20 guards, presidential guards, were killed, and the president was besieged for 1 month by the militias, and militias did not get enough. Rather, they moved from the north to the south in Aden. Now, we're suffering from those militias and their backers. They reached the bordering areas of Aden. The president, who withdrew to Aden, had to resort to the Arab and International Alliance. So the main problem here is that there was a revolution against the outcomes of the national dialogue. So that is the main thing that happened. The Yemen's international and regional center, Yemen has common borders with Oman and Saudi Arabia, so it has a strategic location. Another thing here is that Yemen has about 2,600 kilometers as coastal line, about 2,600 kilometers, and it has 2,000 kilometers borders with Saudi Arabia and Oman. And the big advantage here, and it's a problem at the same time, that Yemen controls the constraint, the straits there, Bab al-Mandab Straits. So some international actors would like to control that strait, because 1,600,000 barrels of oil go through that strait. That strait also is together with Hormuz and Malacca is one of the most important straits. Therefore, Iran supported Houthis to take hold of that strait because they already control Hormuz Strait, so they provoked the Houthis to take control of Bab al-Mandab Strait and to weaken the role of Suez Channel or Canal. The KSA, since it has bordering areas with Yemen, 2,000 kilometers, Saudi Arabia had to help the national army. Now, the national army after the militias were controlling many areas in Yemen, but now it controls 85% of Yemen, supported by many other forces. But let's go back a little bit. When participants of the National Dialogue Conference, the government detected two ships, Jihan 1 and Jihan 2, during the National Dialogue Conference. Those ships were coming from Iran to support the coup militias. And that was documented, actually, because Iran wants to take control of that area. Are there scenarios for the for any political solution rather than a military one? There are three scenarios. The first scenario, which is painful, like this war will carry on and continue until it becomes a civil war, and this is a very upsetting and annoying scenario. And then this will lead to the division of Yemen, and now there are some initiatives of division. Hadramaut, Aden, Taiz, and now Taiz does not accept to be ruled by the center, or so there has to be a kind of division. Now the third scenario here, which is positive, which is going through a political compromise. The legitimate government, in addition, all of the parties, they get together and find a political solution. Therefore, there are negotiations with of Kuwait, and there was Geneva negotiations, and they understand that there has to go back to the previous political track before revolting against the National Dialogue Conference. So that is the most peaceful, and that is the best solution, which leads Yemen to agree on putting aside arms and to find the guaranteeing government. The guaranteeing government will be able to handle all of everything on the area. Thank you very much.